In today's video, we uncover the very strange and unsettling case of Valerie Tiemann. What began as a missing person report soon spiraled into a baffling investigation filled with contradictions, suspicious behavior, and disturbing discoveries. While her husband Luke was shopping, Valerie Tiemann, 34, vanished from the Walmart parking lot. Although he went back to the car, Valerie was not there. They started their investigation as soon as they heard she was missing, but things quickly took a turn they weren't expecting. Just before we continue, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from? Whether you're watching from home, work, or on the go, drop your city or country in the comments below. It's always amazing to see how far these stories reach. And if you're enjoying this deep dive into true crime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, let's get back into the case. She was born on December 31st, 1981 in Salem, Virginia. Her parents are Sarah Jean Sampson Harmon and Jean Allen Harmon. Valerie was born and raised in Greenville, South Carolina. In 2000, she graduated from Hampton Park Christian School. She went to Bob Jones University and got her degree in hairdressing. People liked her because she was friendly and had a nice smile. Valerie was known for her love of speech and theater. She also liked music and could play the piano and flute. She worked as a cosmetologist in salons, spas, and beauty pageants. By making other people look and feel their best, she helped them. Valerie was seeing a guy named Matt. They met through a friend they both had when Valerie was about 22 years old. They were two different in many ways. Valerie was friendly and open, while Matt was quieter. They were different, but it didn't bother them. Val and Matt got married in 2004. They moved into Matt's small house after the honeymoon, and at first, everything was great. Things started to change with Valerie over time, though, and her parents noticed. Matt was very strict with his money, so Valerie had to open a different bank account to save money for herself. Things changed a lot about Matt as time went on. He tried to control Valerie's whole life and said she was to blame for everything that was wrong with him and their family. There are things she put up with and a lot of mental pain she went through, but everyone has their limits. After 10 years, Valerie and Matt got a divorce because she wanted to start over. A new part of Valerie's life began when she met Luke Tiemann. Valerie was able to forget about her worries thanks to him. The Army had Luke for 10 years. He was in Iraq and Afghanistan, and Valerie thought he was a good man who loved her. Valerie's family started to notice that she looked happy again. She was as happy and smiling as she was 10 years ago. Val and Luke got married on June 6, 2014. Their new home was with Luke's folks in Fairfield, Maine. The parents of Valerie lived in South Carolina at the time. Valerie and Luke went to South Carolina to see her family in August 2016 and then came back to Maine. Valerie's mom, Sarah Jean Harmon, had her last text message chat with her daughter on August 18, 2016. A lot of people saw Luke with a woman he had been talking to on Facebook for a week before August 24, 2016. Luke Tiemann and this woman had a sexual encounter on the night of August 24, 2016, and Valerie may have learned about it that night. In 5 hours, Valerie called Luke 31 times. On August 25, 2016, Valerie was called by messenger by a friend of both Luke and Valerie. Valerie's friend told her that Luke was getting together with other women and telling them they were split up. Valerie replied with several messages that Luke broke her heart, but that everything would work out because God has a plan. She also said that Tiemann would never find a better woman than her and that he had lost her. The following day, August 26, 2016, Luke Tiemann moved in with a woman he was seeing and told her that his wife Valerie had left him for someone else. Every week, Valerie called her parents in South Carolina, but now it had been more than a week since they had heard from their daughter. They called and texted her, but she didn't answer. Sarah Jean and Alan Harmon chose to talk to Luke because they couldn't reach their daughter. They texted him to see how things were going with Valerie. When asked the next day, Luke replied, "We are fine, thanks. I love her so much." After 13 days, Valerie's parents still couldn't get in touch with her, so they called Luce's dad. They were shocked by the man's answer. Valerie hadn't been seen by Luke's dad in 2 weeks, and that she was unknown. He also asked Valerie's parents what he should do with her things. Alan then called Luke Tiemann and asked him why he hadn't told them their daughter was missing. Tiemann said, "I was waiting for her to call you because I still wouldn't say bad things about her. I love all of you still." Valerie had left with another guy, and Luke thought she would tell her parents that they were no longer together. Alan and Sarah Jean knew it wasn't true because it wasn't like their daughter at all. They were sure Valerie couldn't have done that. And they also thought she would have called them because she knew they would be worried. Alan told the Fairfield Police Department that he was missing the next day, on September 9th, 2016. The detectives began their investigation by going to see Valerie's parents, who were Luke Tiemann's parents. When they called his mother, Laurel Tiemann, she said she had no idea where Luke and Valerie were, so the officers left without finding out anything new. Valentine's parents thought it was hard for their daughter to live with Laurel Tiemann because she was too controlling. After Valerie hadn't been there for 2 weeks, Laurel put all of her things in trash bags. That made it clear how Laurel felt about her daughter-in-law. She wasn't worried about Valerie at all. Her only goal was to get rid of her things so they wouldn't take up space in the house. No matter how hard the cops tried, they couldn't find Luke Tiemann and ask him some questions. His family said they had no idea where their son was because he didn't show up at their house. But Luke called the cops himself 5 days after Valerie went missing. He told them that he had heard they wanted to talk to him. The people asked him about Valerie and when and how he had last seen her. Luke's answer was very strange. He said that he and Valerie bought some food at the local Walmart about 2 weeks ago. Val parked his car and waited in the lot while he went shopping. Valerie wasn't there when he got back to the car after getting everything he needed. Luke said that when he left the store and Valerie wasn't there, he called and texted her to try to find her and let her know he would bring her back. Luke also said that he and Valerie were ending their marriage. He said that Valerie once talked about another guy in a conversation, which made him think that she was cheating on him with him. Luke didn't know the man's name or address because he thought Valerie had left with him. Valerie's family had only ever heard of Luke Tiemann. The police used the media to ask for help. They put up a picture of Valerie and asked anyone who had seen her in the last few weeks to tell the police. From the time she disappeared from the Walmart parking lot to the time her things were put in trash bags. This whole story seemed strange. Luke Tiemann didn't do anything to find his wife, which was another strange thing. He might have been too busy with another woman. The police went to the Walmart where Luke and Valerie were on the day Valerie went missing. There were security cams outside and inside, so it was easy to check Luke's story. The police looked at the CCTV tape for more than an hour. On the recordings, they did not see Luke Tiemann, his red pickup truck, or Valerie. This was a welcome relief. Luke had lied to the cops, and they now knew what he was trying to hide. While the investigators did decide to talk to Luke in person, they did not tell him everything they knew. They thought he might lie or change some things in his statement. Luke was seeing another woman, Billie Jo Goodman, and no one could tell. There was no doubt in his mind that he was cheating on Valerie. He explained that his relationship with Billie Jo was an effort to move on from his breakup with Valerie. This woman had been in a few bad relationships before she met Luke Tiemann. She thought he was the one she could spend the rest of her life with. So the police had to answer another question. Could Valerie have gotten in the way of Luke and Billie Jo's kiss? They may have wanted to start a new life and got rid of anything that could get in the way of their plans. Billie Jo told the cops that she thought Luke had split up with his wife. There was nothing she knew about Valerie Tiemann's disappearance that she told the police. At the same time, someone in the area gave the cops a tip. The man found Valerie's driver's license in the grass in one of the parking lots. This parking lot was next to Billie Jo's house. Many people thought something was wrong when Valerie's driver's license was found near the house of her husband's new girlfriend. Not many people thought Valerie had just run off with another guy, leaving all of her things behind and throwing away all of her papers. 10 days ago, on September 19th, 2016, a report of Valerie's disappearance was made by her father, Alan. Luke Tiemann then talked to the News Center Maine. He went to the news and said that Valerie wasn't in the car when he got back from Walmart. He didn't know yet that the Walmart CCTV video didn't back up what he said.
Lights on. My name is Luke Tiemann, spelled Luctieman.
Perfect. Things look great at me. So basically, I know we've kind of already talked about it, but if you just want to kind of sum up your last encounter with her, I guess, and if this is out of the ordinary for her.
This Well, I didn't tell you this yet, but she wanted to, the night she left, she wanted to, she was looking for her truck keys, which I don't know where the other set is. So she probably still has it. And then she said she was going to take the truck and leave and never come back when I asked her what she was doing. And I said that, don't do that. I'll go with you. And we went to Walmart and she wanted some food. And I asked her if she would come in with me, and she said no. And when I came out, she was gone. So I just want her back. And her family wants her back. Done everything possible.
So I guess so before you guys went to Walmart, just so I'm making sure I understand it, you had had the conversation. She had said, I want to leave. I'm never coming back. That no, let me go with you. So you didn't know where she was going at the time. You're just like, let me go with you. Ended up at Walmart for some food. And she was, I mean, I guess, what was going through your head at that time to come back out and have her not be there after you just had that conversation?
I don't really remember much after that, just running around looking for her.
After hearing what Luke Tiemann says and seeing how he acts, each of you has probably come to your own opinion. The case took a strange turn the next day, on September 20th, 2016. Detectives got a warrant to search Luke's parents' home in Fairfield because that was where Valerie was last seen living. Police dogs that are trained to find human remains helped with the search. The house, the land, and the stream were all going to be checked. A police dog found something in the woods behind the Tiemann family home after about 5 minutes of searching. The police officer dug in the ground with his hand and saw a shoe up off the ground. Other police officers joined him and put on gloves and started digging too. They found the body of a woman buried with some strange things. The body was wrapped in a blanket. There was a flannel shirt, a mason jar, a scribbled note, a bag of potato chips, a bottle of Gucci perfume, a package of sweet tarts, and a wedding ring that wasn't found until the evidence was being put together for trial. Sergeant Scott Bryant, who is in charge of Maine's evidence reaction team, said that he found the ring while going through the mason jar's contents. Inside were flower stems, sticks, and dirt. I heard a thought and knew there was something heavy in the envelope, he said. No information was given about the ring's owner or whether it belonged to a guy or a woman. However, Bryant said it was much bigger than his own wedding ring. The note that was found with Valerie's body was old and dirty, but the cops were able to read it. For my one and only joy. Happiness flower always, the card said. Dear Valerie Joy T., I love you. Peace be with my heart and Jesus. Looking forward to seeing you again. It was signed L.Y. Bear. He told police that Valerie called him Lucky Bear on a recording, and that's how he signed other notes found in Valerie's bag during the investigation. These things showed that Luke had something to do with Valerie's death. The body was taken to the forensic medical examiner's office so that it could be cut up and identified. Sarah Jean and Alan Harmon were afraid to hear the worst news that any parent could hear. Valerie's body had been found behind the Tiemann family home. That house was home to more than just Valerie and Luke. His parents and younger brother Sam also lived there. Sam's gardening tools were found in the barn by the police. These things were used to dig the grave for Valerie. Detectives also found a device in the barn that could be used to use a drug that isn't allowed. Not long after that, police learned that Luke's younger brother Sam used drugs. When Valerie went to see her folks in South Carolina, she told them about it. The cops had to find out if Valerie's death had anything to do with Sam Tiemann as well. Investigators also found a .45 caliber handgun in Luke's parents' bedroom. It turned out that Luke Tiemann bought it in 2015. Police said Luke's parents didn't know Valerie was buried close to their home. It's hard to believe this is real, of course. Near the same time that Valerie was found, police also found Luke with his new girlfriend, Billy Joe. A guy named Luke Tiemann was caught and taken to the police station to be questioned. He told the police that Valerie had used drugs and died of an accident on August 25th, which was almost a month ago. Luke supposedly didn't tell Valerie's parents that she was using drugs because he didn't want them to know. He didn't call 911 because he knew they wouldn't help her since she was already dead. He instead left Valerie in bed until it got dark outside in the evening. He put a note on her and wrapped her in a blanket before taking her to the trees behind the house. Luke and his brother Sam then dug a hole and buried Valerie in it. Luke said Valerie had not been hurt before she died, but the autopsy data showed that Luke Tiemann was not telling the truth. Valerie's blood only had small amounts of prescription drugs in it, not any illegal drugs. But that wasn't the most shocking thing about Valerie's death. She was shot twice, once in the head and once in the neck. The bullets that were taken from Valerie's body were fired from a .45 caliber pistol, which was the same type of gun that police found in Luke's parents' bedroom during their search. He didn't say he hadn't bought the gun a year ago. He just said he did. He said he did it for his dad. He said he had no idea Valerie had been shot. Valentine Tiemann, who was 34 years old, was killed by her husband Luke Tiemann, who is 32 years old. While they were looking into it, the cops couldn't find any proof that his parents or younger brother were involved. Sam supposedly helped Luke bury Valerie's body, but the cops say he wasn't at home at the time. It's likely that his parents knew or had something to do with what happened to Valerie. Still, it's odd that they didn't hear two gunshots. Opening comments began on April 2, 2018 in Somerset County Superior Court in Skowhegan, Maine. The trial would last for 5 days. Luke said he wasn't guilty and that someone had set him up. He said he wouldn't have left things like an engagement ring and a note near the body, but the items found with Valerie's body were all linked to Luke Tiemann. There was also evidence from a computer forensics expert who looked at the phone records of Luke and Valerie. Valerie's phone was last used on August 25, 2016, which is also the day cops think she died. The officer spent most of his time talking about how to track cell phone use and how that can help them figure out where someone was when they called. The records show that Valerie called Luke 31 times on the day that he was meant to be with his new girlfriend, Billy Joe. Luke would only answer the last call, which was about 13 minutes long. The caller was home when the police think he was. Valerie would get a message in the morning from another woman saying that Luke had been cheating on her. After that, no one would hear from her again. The defense for Tiemann called these phone records into question. Sam Tiemann, Luke's younger brother, went to court to witness against his brother. Sam told the jury that he had nothing to do with Luce's story that he helped him hide Valerie. Sam, who was 28 years old, was actually working 2 hours away, and he had his work log to show it. Sam told the judge that he heard his brother tell the cops that Luke had been an accomplice, so he went to talk to Luke about it. Sam says that Luke told him, "What else do you do with a dead body?" When he asked Luke why he told the cops what he did, police kept questioning Luke Tiemann about who killed Valerie. They even said that his brother Sam and his parents were to blame. Luke told them that they couldn't do that. The police asked Luke if he might have passed out because of his PTSD. He had told the cops before that his PTSD would make him lose control of his temper and forget what happened afterward. The prosecutor called witnesses in court who talked in great detail about what Luke and Valerie Tiemann did behind closed doors. These witnesses said that the couple used a lot of illegal drugs. Around the same time that Valerie went missing, Luke told people he was getting divorced. Jackie Spencer, who used to date Luke's younger brother Sam, told the jury that she got along great with the couple and was even the maid of honor at their wedding. Spencer said in court that she saw Valerie and Luke using a lot of illegal drugs together. Spencer said that around the time Valerie went missing, Luke began sending her a lot of texts. She said she had always thought he wanted to be with her. "He would tell me he always felt like there was a connection with me," he said. "He always wanted to meet up or hang out." Aside from witnesses who knew the couple personally, more proof from the crime scene was also shown to the jury. There was a video that showed the 3-minute walk from where Valerie's body was found to the Tieman's house. The officer walked through a thick forest on an ATV trail that had grown over. This is a familiar sight behind many homes in rural Maine. At the Tieman home, members of the evidence reaction team gave testimony about what they had found. The defense quickly raised concerns about a number of things, such as the gardening tools found in a shed nearby and the .45 caliber handgun taken from one of the home's rooms. Tieman's lawyer, Stephen Smith, said that the state thought the gun and ammunition were used by Tieman because they were found in the house. He pointed out that they never checked to see who the items really belonged to, which suggested that someone else in the house might have had access to them. On the 5th day of the trial, Luke Tieman gave his closing speech. He testified, even though his lawyer told him not to. Tieman said that he had changed his story many times. In order to protect his folks, he told the police several lies. He told the jury. Luke told the police that they made him lie before them. He said he had no reason to kill his wife and that DNA proof did not connect him to the scene of the crime. The government said Tieman was the only person who could hurt Valerie, and there was plenty of proof to support their claim. It took the jury less than an hour to decide that Tieman was guilty. The decision was made public on May 11, 2018. Val Tieman's mother said in her statement at the sentencing hearing, "The heartache and grief are real. It makes me so sick to think that Luke is still denying what happened. This person has a bad heart, so they should spend the rest of their life in jail." The mother of Luke Tieman also spoke for her son. She asked the judge to look at their son Luke Tieman's whole life, but I don't want you to ignore the proof. I want you to look at the person as a whole and find a balance between justice and mercy. He cried when his parents begged the judge to be kind to them. Laurel Tieman, his mother, said that her son was different when he got back from 3 battle tours in Afghanistan and Iraq. She mentioned that she wasn't trying to use his PTSD as an excuse and added, "I'm asking for understanding." In spite of Valerie's parents' wishes for a life term, Luke Tieman was given 55 years in prison. Because Tieman's defense did not use PTSD to get a lighter term, the lawyer for Harmon's family was very surprised by this turn of events. Tieman made an appeal, but it didn't work out the way he wanted it to. He changed his story again while he was in jail, but that didn't help him either. Thanks for watching the strange and tragic case of Valerie Tieman. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true crime documentaries. Stay safe, and see you in the next video.